Hello friends, welcome back to another Lost Ark video. This is going to be another quick start guide for newer players or returning players, or just anybody who needs it really, whatever the series name may be. Feel free to watch it if you want to watch it, but we're going to be talking about engravings and how they work, what they are, how you get them. Engravings are one of the systems in this game that can be a bit confusing to figure out at the beginning. And this is going to be one of the more challenging videos I'm going to try to make understandable or legible. Hopefully this attempt will be the winning attempt. I've tried this video a few different times. What are engravings? So, the best way that I've come up to explain engravings, they're like talents from WoW, or like just something that boosts your character in some way, generally in damage or tankiness, or augments abilities on your class, specifically your class engraving. So they're like modifiers, I guess, is how I would say it. Like Grudge, for example, makes you do 20% more damage to boss monsters. Robust Spirit is my class engraving, so it affects directly my class's ability. So when I use Hype, I enter level 3 immediately, and I get more damage. So, that's what engravings are. Why are they important? Well, obviously, they give you damage. A lot of the damage from your class in this game is going to be coming from your engraving setup. You have 3 levels of engravings. Level 1, Level 2, Level 3. You can see I have Master Brawler here at level 0 because I don't have 5 pips filled up all the way. If I had 5 points to Master Brawler, I would have level 1 Master Brawler activated. If I had 10 points, I would have level 2. And if I had full 15 points, I would have level 3. And you can see how it scales at each level. For the most part, engravings scale very harshly. As you can see, level 1 goes from 5% to 12% at level 2, which then goes to 25% at level 3 for Master Brawler. So generally speaking, you want to focus on getting engravings to level 3. Now, how do you do this? Well, initially, when you start the game, the easiest way and first way you're going to be able to interface with the engraving system is if we go over to your gear tab, and down here in the bottom left corner, you'll see I have 2 engravings equipped. And you'll see I'm getting 12 PowerPoint nodes to Grudge from me having this equipped, and I'm also getting 12 PowerPoints to Robust Spirit for having this equipped. So you can equip 2 engravings onto your character itself. So, for example, say you're a newer player, and you have some engraving books from, like, a login event or an express pass or something, and you use it on your class engraving. The best thing to do to start out would be to double equip your class engraving, so you have level 3 class engraving, and nothing else. Because generally speaking, your class engraving is the most important thing, and the thing that you should have activated first, before you worry about anything else. And the reason being is because, again, class engraving generally does something very good, hyper-specific to your class, and your identity ability, or something of the sort. After that, you can work on the more generic damage engravings. But before we even touch on that, let's get into how to acquire engravings to begin with, and how the system itself kind of works in terms of 12 points, 9 points, 3 points, what does it all mean? So, one of the common ways initially to get engravings is from the Chaos Exchange vendor here. When you run Endless Chaos Dungeons, you get these shards. If you run Tier 1 Endless Chaos, you'll get Perception Shards, which are the green shards. If you run Tier 2 Endless Chaos, you'll get the blue shards, or Guardian Shards. And then the tier 3 stuff, but can I view all? There's also some other stuff you can get, honing mats. But in any case, we're looking at the bag specifically, so I can explain to you exactly how it works. So you'll see you get green engraving recipes from this one, blue engraving recipes from this one. Green engravings, you have to read 20 of a book to learn the engraving, and you have to read them in order of rarity. So you must start at green, and then you read 20 green books. When you read 20 green books, you'll learn that engraving fully, and you'll unlock the uncommon rarity of it, the green rarity. You then must read 20 of the blue books of that engraving, after reading the green books. Then, once you read 20 of the blue books, you'll have the rare version unlocked, meaning you will get +6 when you equip that node. And then again, for purple, you'll read the purple one. I think I have some purple ones in my stash here just to make it visually accurate. Okay, here. So, say I've been reading... I read the green energy overflow books. I read 20 of them, and then I read 20 of the blue energy overflow books. Now I'm reading 20 of the purple energy overflow books. After I do that, I will have learned the epic tier, and I will gain +9 to my engraving energy overflow if I equip it. Meaning if I equip 2 of them, I'll have 18 points, meaning I will have level 3 energy overflow with the epic book learned and me using 2 of them equipped onto my character. And then, again, this same trend follows for legendary. After you read 20 purple, you can read 20 legendary books, and then you'll be able to get the maximum points of +12. So, what does that mean? That means, at maximum, if you read all of the rarities of books, 20 each, including legendary, you'll be able to get 12 points from a legendary engraving that you equip to your character. Now, for those who are maybe a little bit observant, you'll notice that 12 points is not 15. So where do the rest of these points come from? Well, you can kind of see here, it says engravings on gear. So the rest of your gear comes from, or the rest of your engravings comes from your gear. Specifically, your accessories and your ability stone. These are the only other pieces of gear that can have engravings. Your ability stone can only have generic general engravings, and it cannot have class engravings. You cannot get your class engraving on an ability stone. Remember this, you cannot get a class engraving on ability stone. You can get class engravings on jewelry, but not the ability stone. I would generally advise you, as a newer player, to not worry about doing anything else other than double equipping your class engraving until you get to 14-15 and unlock relic jewelry. Relic jewelry is where you can start focusing on building out your character a little bit, so it's a bit stronger and more enjoyable to play. The reason being is it's not too difficult to get to 14-15, and it will save you resources and money in the long run, ultimately, doing it this way. Your character will feel not super great to play until you manage to get to that point, but when you get to that point, it'll be like a world of difference. Now, how do engravings on jewelry work? So for relic jewelry that you unlock when you get to 14-15 item level at tier 3, so that's going to be tier 3 endgame. This is endgame jewelry right now. At absolute maximum, each piece of jewelry can have 1 + 5 engraving, 1 + 3 engraving, and it will always have a negative engraving, or a malice. The malice will always be something negative, and it will range from +1 to +3. So for example, this necklace I have is +5 is the Cursed Doll engraving, so my +5 is Cursed Doll, the +3 is Keen Blunt, and the malice is +1 move speed reduction. Now, malices are negative abilities that work similar to engravings. They're basically negative engravings. You can kind of see them over here, they're red. I don't have any of them activated because I specifically tried to avoid them. Ultimately, they don't do too much to hurt your character, so if you end up with one, it doesn't matter too much. I just have an ape brain, so red bad, I avoid it. Now, this is the maximum roll for a piece of jewelry. It can roll as low as +3/+3. So 2 positive engravings that go up to +3. It can also roll +4/+3. But the perfect roll is going to be 1 line +5, 1 line +3. So keeping that in mind, you can sort of plan out your character. And there are plenty of engraving calculators on the internet to help you plan out like how you're going to set up your character. That's something that you can learn when you're ready to actually build out a character, like 5x3. And going out on a limb, saying 5x3, what does 5x3 mean? 4x3, 3x3? So 3x3 would mean I have 3 level 3 engravings. So if I was 3x3, let's say I would have Adrenaline, Robust Spirit, Cursed All. That would be 3x3. Imagine Keen, Blunt, and Grudge don't exist. So let's do this. So just pretend this is what I have. This would be a 3x3. This would be a 4x3. This would be a 5x3. What would a 5x3 +1 look like? Well, assume I had Master Brawler at level 1 activation, and then also had these. That would be a 5x3 +1. Makes sense? I know this is very confusing, and I hope this at least makes some sense to you. I think ultimately, engravings are a very important system, and once you have played the game a little bit and you sort of understand and are familiar with the system a bit more, it will become less confusing. Last thing I will say before I end the video, though, is while engravings are important, your main stat is also just as important. So say, if you look at my earring, for example, you'll see it has the basic stats, strength and vitality. Then it has the bonus combat stat, which in this case is specialization. And then it has the random engraving effects, correct? So you understand that? You do not want to sacrifice your bonus effects combat stat. You need to make sure that combat stat is the right one for your class. So for example, if you're playing a Robust Spirit Soulfist, you need specialization. You do not want to get a cheap piece with like swiftness or endurance or expertise instead of specialization just because it has your engraving. That is not going to be worth it, and it's better to get the right stat but no engravings than it is to get the wrong stat with engravings. Does that make sense? I don't know. Let me know. I've tried to make this video multiple times. This is a very confusing one to make. Hopefully I've made it a bit more digestible. Of course, leave comments down below if you need further explanation. I will try my best to help you. Of course, join the Discord as well if you want to directly ask me questions, or the server. People in there are very, very helpful. Hope to see you there. And of course, like the video if you like the video, dislike it if you dislike it. Leave a comment down below if you have any questions, comments, thoughts. And of course, subscribe if you'd like to see daily Lost Art content. Sorry for the long delay on the next one of these new player guides. Again, I've been working on it, and this is what I've managed to come up with. Thank you all so much for watching. Oh, and of course, consider becoming a YouTube member today. It's like a Patreon sub. Help support the channel, support me. Not required, but appreciated. Alright, see you all later. Bye-bye.